It's Alexis Hasselberger, time management and productivity coach. Have you had trouble in the past creating or maintaining a task system and feeling like it really, buoys you and helps you do the work and keeps it going? Have you set up task systems and then just feel like, ugh, it's just more trouble than it's worth? Well, if that's happened for you, I want to share with you the four biggest issues that I see for people when they get frustrated with their task list and find that it's not really helping them, right? So, how can we fix those things? So the first thing that I see when this happens for people is that they actually have a task list and not a task system. And so a list is just, a list. It's a bunch of things you have to do. And it can be really overwhelming. Your task list might have 100 things on it. And then every time you look at that list, you're just having to say, okay, what should I do next? What should I do next? What should I do next? If your system is not telling you exactly what to do and when, then it's not yet a system, it's still a list, and it can feel really overwhelming and you might want to ignore it, right? And so what do we do about this? Two things. The first is that we need to assign very clear next steps, next actions for every task or project, so that when we look at them, we can immediately see what is the very next step I have to take. That's the what. And then to make it a system, we have to go a step farther and we have to assign a when. So when are we actually going to do that next step? When are we really going to do it? Not when do we want to do it? Not when do we want it done? Not when would it be nice? When are we actually going to do it? So we want to assign a next action and a next action date. Now, the next problem that I see often is that we are using some sort of a task system, but it's not yet our single source of truth. It's not the place where all our tasks live. Some of our tasks live there, things that we deem worthy of putting on the list live there, but we've also got other places where tasks live. So we've got our email, and there's a lot of things we need to do in there. Maybe Slack, our head, our brains have a whole lot of things in them that we're maybe not keeping in a task list. Our name might be assigned to comments in Google Docs. We might use Post-its, we might have physical lists. So, maybe we're using a task system, but it doesn't really have everything in it. So it's not yet our single source of truth. And when we have our tasks in all these different places, well, we don't really have a system yet either, right? Because we're now looking and grasping at all these different places, and it makes it really hard to prioritize. Our brains can only prioritize things linearly. And so we need to actually have everything all in one place to be able to figure out how the different pieces fit together as a whole and to be sure of our prioritization decisions. So if you find that you have tasks in a lot of places, the fix is to get them all in one place. So get everything into a single place, figure out where all those sources are coming from, what are all your funnels, and then figure out going forward, how are you going to get things from each of those systems into your main system. So for instance, many task systems, many task apps, including my favorite TickTick, TICK. TickTick will have a Gmail add-on. There's a Chrome extension. It's really easy to get tasks in. It also has voice entry, right? Lots of different task apps available, and a lot of them have these ways to make it really easy to get tasks from your other systems into your main system, so that you have a funnel there. Now, the next thing that I often see is that, maybe you've done these two things, right? Maybe you're sitting here and you're thinking, okay, well, I have next actions, I have next action dates, all my stuff is in one place. Why is it still not working? And the reason might be that you're being a little too ambitious. So your task system, it just isn't realistic yet. And I think this is so normal. This is so true of most of us, right? That we put more on our task list than we can do in any given day. And so what happens is that then we feel bad every day because we didn't get all of the things that we had assigned ourselves for that day. But the reality was we weren't going to be able to do it anyways because we gave ourselves too much to do. So if you're finding that you're frustrated because you're just pushing things, or a lot of stuff are ending up in an overdue status, then the answer is probably that you're just not being ruthless about your prioritization yet. You're not being realistic about what you can actually get done on any given day. So how do we get more realistic? Well, one, we want to use our calendars for that. So time blocking is a really great strategy that we can use to help us become more realistic. If we start blocking on our time, how much time we think it's going to take to get certain things done, well, we're going to see really quickly that we actually don't have time for those 25 things today. Maybe we've got time for 5 of them, and we're going to have to get ruthless in our prioritization. So if you find that you just don't have enough time in the day for all the things that you're assigning yourself, then try to get a little more realistic and try time blocking on your calendar. And now the last thing that I see quite often is that people say, you know what, it just takes me too much time to update my task list, right? Just updating my task list, maintaining it, it's just more trouble than it's worth. Right? And if that's you, then I think the issue is that you're using your task system as a repository and not as an engine to drive your day. And so if you're using it as a repository, it's a place where you're kind of keeping track of things, but now you have to update it later. And when we have to update something later, the likelihood that we're going to do it is very small. It just feels like too much work. Also, if we're updating things later, then we have to think about it twice, right? If you are doing a task and then, 6 hours later, you're going into your task system to update that task, well, a lot of things have happened in that 6 hours. And you might be thinking, did I in fact send that email or did I just think about it? Let me go check my drafts. And then it's going to take you a little bit longer. So the fix here is to update your task system in the moment, right? Keep it always open, always available. And the system you want to follow is, do a task, update the task, move on to the next task. It only takes, 10, 20 seconds to update what you've done, to switch the next action and the next action date, but it's going to save you so much time overall. Because if updating my task list is an item on my task list, I am losing this battle and I am not coming back. So update in the moment. So there you go. Those are the 4 things that I see most commonly where people are trying to implement a task system and it's just not working for them, and the things that you can try to get it working for you.
Hey, it's Arlies, the editor of this video. I just want to quickly tell you to like, subscribe, and comment. It really helps with our channel and we're trying to grow. So if you could just even subscribe or like or do any of those things, it would really help a lot. And we're trying to get monetization, so if you could just do all those things, it would be great.